Good morning, everybody. My name is John Gosling. I'm Managing Director of Breakwater IT. Thank you for joining us for our online cybersecurity conference. For those of you who don't know, we ran our first annual cybersecurity conference last December. But given the current circumstances, we thought we wouldn't do a face-to-face one, but we thought we'd do a remote one. And we feel that with the current pandemic situation, lots of people are more at risk of scams and attacks. But we also feel that maybe security awareness has fallen down the agenda for some people, and that's why we wanted to bring this event to you now. And that's why we're doing it. We want to share knowledge, share awareness to help you protect and prepare yourselves for what's coming. We've got two great speakers. We've got Callum Noad at Mimecast, who you can see with the cap on. Callum, can you show everyone your hair as well?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, this is why I'm wearing the cap, because halfway through I'll go blind if it comes off.
And that's going to be followed by second half of our speaker, Ethical Hacker FC, also known as Freaky Clown. So anyway, without further ado, we'll hand over to Callum. Callum, feel free to share your screen when you're ready.
Lovely, thank you very much. Over the last few years, we have seen a dramatic increase in threats born internally, which traditionally organizations haven't put as much monitoring or protection in for their internal mail as they do inbound. So the key reasons we see this rise in internal threats are as follows. So we did a big survey and found that 80% of businesses have experienced some kind of compromised insider account which has been used to spread an attack. It on average takes 225 days to spot a compromised account. So from that position as well, we see a lot of credential harvesting attacks. So as more and more organizations move towards Office 365, they become more used to using things like OneDrive links and SharePoint links. They'll get sent around by email. A user will click it from their email, go to the login page, give away their 365 credentials, and hey presto, they are compromised. We see lots and lots of those pages. Actually, I think the number is 222 brand new Office 365 phishing pages every day. We see that at Mimecast. So yeah, quite a big threat, and it's those are all day zeros as well. They're brand new every single time, so forever moving. The second number, the careless insider. So lots of organizations saw careless insider, so it was actually the highest number. It's actually the number one cause of a data breach is the end user, a careless insider. And actually 31% of those mentioned that someone at their C-level had shared information with the wrong contact within the last 6 months. So even the top and most powerful guys, they're not impervious to being a careless insider. And lastly, malicious insider. So whilst it's actually assumed rare, it would be assumed that people aren't going to act maliciously on purpose. 70% of the businesses we surveyed have actually experienced an intentional attack from a user. It is necessary to ensure that your employees are aware of the different kind of threats out there and that they know what to do when facing them. So to start with, some more numbers to look at. So according to research, more than 90% of security incidents are due to human error. 86% of threats and data leaks start with an employee, and all of that results in data breaches which cost around $4 million to fix. So it is very well known fact that most attacks start with an email, but data breaches come from negligent employees disclosing data to the wrong person. And this can be because employees lost their paperwork, didn't shred the information. It could also be because they got overheard talking about confidential information in public places. When you think that a data breach can take even months to be identified and then be contained, and the cost of a data breach can be carried out over years, it becomes evident that having the right technologies in place is beneficial to prevent those breaches. But it sadly doesn't always matter that the technology is in place because there is a human factor.
Callum, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me as well.
Hi, FC.
Hi there, how you doing?
All right, yeah, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Excellent. Should we crack on? I haven't got really anything else to say. You told me you're going to introduce yourself, so over to you, FC.
Hi everyone, hopefully you can all hear me. My name is FC and I've been asked by Breakwater IT to come in and give a little presentation about the current state of cybersecurity This is the nation state of cybersecurity. My name is FC. I'm also known as Freaky Clown. That's my hacker alias. And that will get explained a little bit more in the next following slides. So who am I? Ooh, why can't I? There we go. So who am I? This is my LinkedIn profile. This is basically what you'll find out if you Google me. I've been in cybersecurity now for 25 years, maybe a little bit longer. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of a company called Cygenta. I've been the head of social engineering and physical assessments for several companies. I was also the former head of cyber research for a massive defense firm. So on to the nation state of cybersecurity. Okay, so the first thing you have to understand is, what is your threat landscape? Now, your threat landscape is going to be different from the next person, right? From the next company. Batman has a different threat landscape than you do, right? And his risk model is very different to yours. You cannot say, because this company does X, I have to do X. You have to understand who is your threat, where they're coming from, and how you mitigate those issues. We've put together a graph of who is more likely to be attacking companies, right? And it looks like this is the cyber criminal likelihood bell curve that we've called it. And it shows very clearly that the main bulk of attacks that happen are from script kiddies or criminal gangs. Now, a lot of people very weirdly focus on the nation state. They think nation state is who's hacking everything, right? That is not the case. It's very expensive to do hacks at that level. I want to talk about the illusion of security. And this is putting stuff in place into your company or into your house or wherever you want to be that you think is making you safe, but it's actually not at all, right? And we'll start off with really, really simple things. So the locks on your front door, right? So the locks on your front door, you lock it when you go out and you think, right, no one's getting into my house. My house is unbreakable, right? It's a ridiculous thing because a criminal could pick the lock, but they're more likely to just smash the window, right? So every time that you harden one area of a company, what you're doing is highlighting all of the other places. So everything has to work together. It has to be a unified security mechanism, either physical or digital. Because if you start to harden one area only, then criminals are just going to go elsewhere. So I want to wrap up with just a couple of conclusion slides, which is the first one is, remember your threat model is different from Batman's, right? It's vital that you understand who is going to be attacking you, how they're going to be attacking you, and why you shouldn't just take the advice of X company saying to do this blanket thing. The more important thing from this, though, is to actually lower your expectations, right? Lowering your expectations means not worrying about the nation states, but more worry about that middle part of the bell curve, the cyber criminals, the script kiddies. Take care of the foundations of your security. Otherwise, you're not even going to get anywhere near stopping the nation state. So that is me for now.
Thank you, FC. Question from one of our director, Stuart Moll. What are your top 3 recommendations for a small business to protect themselves from a cybersecurity perspective?
Education. Education is the biggest thing that you can do to protect your company. If people understand and know about the threats and the likelihood of things happening to them, if they understand that phishing attacks are going to happen, even if you're a tiny company, you're still going to get them. As long as you educate all of the people, they have the strongest possible defense for everything. Because it doesn't matter how good your sophisticated systems are, how good your defenses are. Some phishing email is going to get through, right? Because it's just the way of the world. And it doesn't matter who clicks that link. It's about recognizing that that's happened and how to mitigate that. So that's my top tip. If I could make that all 3, I would. If you're a small business, segregate your networks. And depending on how large your company is, segregation or segmentation rather of networks is a massive thing. Get a password manager for everyone. That again is also going to help protect the company. They're the 3 foundations, I think, that I would recommend straight away.
What are the biggest security misconceptions that you've come across, i.e. things that people put in place to think they are secure?
The biggest the biggest one I think is, why would hackers want to attack me? I'm not big enough. I'm not important enough. That is the biggest misconception, because you will get caught up in all sorts of attacks. Everyone that was on T-Mobile thought they weren't going to be a target. Well, they got popped. Everyone that was on Adobe didn't think that no one would be after my data. They all got compromised. Like, this happens. There's been so many breaches. How can you not think that you're going to be not targeted, but you'll be part of some breach? So that's the biggest one I think I see, like, everywhere. It's like, no one will come after my company. It's too small. They're going to pop you because you're there.
Yeah. You're going to get involved by accident, aren't you?
Exactly.
Kind of like accidental stuff, I suppose. Quite a big breach earlier in the year was the Travelex ransomware. They didn't communicate very well, and then I think it turned out they paid the ransom. Did they or not? But what are your thoughts on paying ransomware?
Never, ever, never pay it. It's the stupidest thing. So this comes back to being prepared, right? So if you think no one's going to attack me, then you're not prepared. If you think, hang on, I might get caught up in something, someone might click something that they shouldn't, some mechanism might attack my network or my computers, so therefore I need to be prepared. So as well as segmentation, you should also have backups, right? Backup everything. We back up everything constantly. And this is one of the great things with Office 365, for example, is that it does all this in the background for you, right? So if that gets compromised, you don't lose all your stuff. You can just restore it. So everyone should have backups, right? And again, this comes back to the misconceptions of like, well, I don't need a backup, or maybe I'll do it next week. Do it today. Like, when you get off this event, go and do a backup, because it will save you, right? If someone came along and ransomwared the Cygenta network, which they might do at some point, it's a couple of hours of our time, and then we're back up and running, because that's how long the window is between our backups. So yeah, I can't see why anyone wouldn't be backing up, and you shouldn't pay ransomware ever, because it is going on to fund other crime. And also, if you as a company pay over, what you do is you end up on a list of, these are easy targets that companies that have paid in the past, right? So they're going to attack you in different ways and get you again, and then you'll end up paying even more. It's a very sophisticated attack mechanism now. But yeah, never pay the ransomware. Always have a backup.
Perfect. That was really interesting, FC. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it and has got something out of it. Just want to say, yeah, thank you to Callum, thank you to Eric. They're not on the call anymore, but thank you to them. Thank you, FC, for coming along.
My pleasure.
You to Sam for organising, for Jordan and Jack and helping, and everyone else who's watching. Thank you all for coming along.
Understanding what is in place in your company is very important.